Once Upon a Time in the West is here on 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray, released by Paramount. It can be found as a slipcover, part of the Paramount's Presents line, available only at your online retailers. Now, of all of Sergio Leone's work, Once Upon a Time in the West is still one of my favorites from the director. It's very epic in scope with how it was shot, it stars an excellent cast, it has a gripping story, and one of my favorite Morricone scores in any film. The movie does move at a slower pace, which may turn off some potential new viewers, but trust me, you are rewarded for your patience. And this film is one of my highest recommendations, not only as a Western, but as a film in general. Once Upon a Time in the West on 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray has an aspect ratio of 235:1 with native 4K resolution and supports both HDR10 and Dolby Vision. For purposes of this review, I will be discussing the Dolby Vision encode. Paramount's 4K disc of Once Upon a Time in the West is going to be another example of a potentially stellar physical media release getting the short end of the stick. To start things off, the transfer underwent a restoration from the original camera negative, which is built upon a 2007 effort overseen by director Martin Scorsese. In what can only be described as Paramount being cheap, the result is a nearly 3-hour film being crammed onto a 66GB disc. This, of course, is going to have consequences in the finished transfer that you and I see on disc, which results in film grain being minimized somewhat egregiously. No, this isn't a case of the dreaded DNR stick that Paramount also likes to employ in some of its releases. This is just a terribly compressed disc, which is a little ironic because less compression is one of the reasons why we enjoy physical media. While I was on vacation last week, I started reading online reports about the Kaleidoscape version and how it seemed to keep the natural grain intact. As this was one of my all-time favorite Westerns ever, and having a friend who lives almost 90 minutes away owning a Kaleidoscape unit, I thought it was well worth the trip to see for myself if the hype was real. Bringing along my physical 4K disc and gifting the Kaleidoscape version, you're welcome, Nick, the difference is quite apparent. The movie looks wonderfully filmic on Kaleidoscape with a nice healthy layer of grain. On disc, I'm sorry to say, it looks almost artificial in comparison. Now, for some of you out there, this will be indeed music to your ears. I, however, not only disagree, but this permanently puts Paramount on my shit list for treating a physical media release of such a classic film this way. Honestly, there is no justifiable excuse for this. Now, if this was a case where both the disc and Kaleidoscape version looked identical in terms of grain thickness, this would be a different discussion. As it is, this is a slap in the face of physical media collectors everywhere. With the bump to 4K on the disc version, details do offer slightly enhanced textures. There is a new clarity, sure, and a certain improvement over the prior Blu-ray's picture. Close-ups fare the best in this regard. Mid-level and far-away shots can be hit or miss. As for the palette, I'm happy to say that the color timing at least looks bolder than on the previous Blu-ray. This is a very earthy-looking aesthetic, and those colors show fuller visuals. The look of the film is more natural this go-around, making the old 1080p somewhat drab in comparison. Skies are piercing blue, the desert setting rich with browns and yellows, and harmonica shirt offering a little pop. Skin tone skews slightly warm, and whites offer strong stability. Black levels are serviceable. They don't suffer from any unnatural elevation, and what is a bit of a miracle is the low bit rates on the disc don't convey any form of artifacting or macro blocking during darker moments. Once Upon a Time in the West on 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray supports a DTS 5.1 mix as well as a Dolby Digital mono track. True to form, Paramount simply chose to port over the audio track from their previous Blu-ray. The mix is relatively clean from most major audio blemishes and sounds pretty good to my ears. The sound design has always been pretty front-heavy overall, with really only Morricone's brilliant score taking up shop back there. It's immersive in that sense, which I've always enjoyed on the various home formats. Dialogue reproduction is clean with no problems to report. Both fronts handle their respective audio cues well. The LFE is subtle, but considering the age and subject matter, it's to be expected. I, of course, gave the original mono track a spin, and as always, it certainly doesn't disappoint. Audio purists will no doubt enjoy this track over the 5.1. Essentially, the supplements provided by Paramount are ports from the old Blu-ray disc, plus a new audio commentary and look-back featurette with Leonard Maltin. The commentary track is from the Spaghetti Western podcast crew, and I listened to about 30 minutes. It's fine, the group clearly has knowledge and love of the film, and it shows. The look back with Leonard Maltin is not unlike previous Maltin segments, so if you enjoy hearing the longtime critics' thoughts, it's well worth a watch. Previously made available shorts and featurettes bring more insight and detail about the film, its production, and lasting legacy. For the picture quality, I'm going to give Once Upon a Time in the West on 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray a B. Now, I want to be completely fair here. The decision by Paramount to cram the film on a 66GB disc is upsetting, and it definitely reduced the grain structure. Now, the other visual elements clearly make this an upgrade over the Blu-ray picture. If more studios, however, followed Paramount's careless apathy towards physical media, I'd seriously consider investing into a Kaleidoscape myself. For the audio mix, I scored this one a B. The film's DTS 5.1 and mono tracks are clearly a product of their time, but does still carry its weight overall. Morricone's score is clearly the highlight here, but other in-film audio cues offer satisfying results. It's a solid listening experience. For the extras, I gave them a C+. Mostly some returning bonus materials here and a few new pieces to look into, but I wouldn't say it's the most comprehensive extras I would have liked. It kind of just barely scratches the itch. So that is my review of Once Upon a Time in the West on 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray. If you're interested in picking up a copy for yourself, I will leave a direct Amazon link in the comments section. If you use it, it really helps out the channel. But if you have the disc already, let me know your thoughts down below. In the meantime, please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. So until next time, this is Adam with Movie Guy 365. I will see you at the movies.